Lady Justice from Bangkok, fresh from Ronnie Rally. So the man went to the rally, and the people asking what he said. He ain't just talk, he bring the whole folder. Listen to me, he bring the receipts. The man stand up, he start from the start. How the NCF complain and break the people heart. The river write a letter, your judgment is poor. They try to shut you up, they try to lock the door, but the man just smile. He say, watch this my friend. He open up the folder and show them the trend. Ronnie bring the receipts, the folder don't lie. Ronnie bring the receipts, the folder don't lie. The river said for 4 months, but that is a lie. The folder don't lie. It open the eyes. He showed them a letter from November 20, a big long warning with threats aplenty. But he got your moment. The real contradiction is a letter 3 days later, a pure fiction, a special award for work above and beyond, from the same manager who had the warning button. Ronnie bring the receipts, yeah, yeah, yeah. Folder don't lie, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ronnie bring the receipts, folder don't lie, folder don't lie. The river said for 4 months, but that is a lie. The folder don't lie. Open the eyes. The river tell the papers it ain't about this song, but the folder prove that they was wrong. They ban it, they block it, they give him a bad appraisal, then they fire the man. Oh, what a betrayal. He read every word, he showed the whole plan. The folder proved the song was the reason, man. Ronnie bring the receipts, the folder don't lie. Ronnie bring the receipts, folder don't lie, folder don't lie. The river said for 4 months, but that is a lie. The folder don't lie. Open the eye. The folder don't lie. The folder don't lie. Ronnie bring the receipts. The folder don't lie. He open the eyes. The folder don't lie. Lady Justice, me bag pack for Port of Spain. The CCJ, the Caribbean Court of Justice waiting. Yo, yeah! Hold tight, Ronnie. Hold tight. 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 Hold tight.
ladies and gentlemen, good night, boys and girls. You are watching the Marcia Week Show, and we are coming to you live from Barbados. And I have in my hand, this is the national flag of Barbados. And you just heard the national anthem of Barbados. And I take this opportunity to say Happy Independence, Barbados. Oh my goodness. Oh wow, we are excited here in Barbados. 59 years. And as they would say, 59 years is not 59 days. It's a long time. It's a long time, and we're excited, very, very excited about that. God has been good to this beautiful, beautiful country. And you know what? We want to just start off by just remembering that gentleman who died, unfortunately, at Charles Row Bridge during the flooding yesterday. And we send out condolences to his family, to his friends, to his neighbors, and to the entire Barbados, who I know are, we're all mourning his death tonight. We want to wish all the families in St. Peter, St. Lucie, and in any of the parishes, if you've been affected by this flooding that occurred between, well, it was yesterday really, and continued throughout today. And we're told that it's for the entire day. I'm not sure if there are places that are experiencing heavy rainfall at this time. We just want to say to everybody, please stay safe. And we send out a prayer to each and every Barbadian who has been affected. Last night I was able to go into my bed, and I looked up and I said, thank God we don't have any water coming down. There's some people that all of their belongings have been wet. Some of them can't go outside because the water is surrounded their homes. And as Barbadians, you could feel it on Facebook. People are concerned for each other. We saw my friend Dunksman, Mr. Rangate, was out there showing us all that's happening. The influencers, everybody was just sharing what was happening to all of our neighbors within the different parishes. And I just want to say thanks to social media for keeping us in touch with what's going on with everybody in Barbados. We send out a big prayer. We say, people, everybody stay safe, be vigilant. Once the rain has died down, do what it is that you need, that you can do. And we appeal to the government. Do we have drains that need to be cleared? What is it that you can do? We want to thank the MTW. In some of the videos, you saw that they were there on time and they were cutting the trees and clearing. I saw those Barbadian men clearing from MTW. Come on, let's give them a hand. They were right there and they were ready to do what they needed to do. And so we want to thank the Ministry of Transport and Works for getting that happening so quickly. And we want to ask them, please, the drains that need to be cleared, are they cleared? What are the plans for them to be cleared? And then there are some other long-term plans that need to be put in place. Well, not even plans. We need you to do the work properly. Do the work that you are supposed to do. Do it properly. Barbadians, look out for each other, please. Continue. I can't even say look out because you are doing that. Yes. And with that, let me just say a proper good night to everybody who has joined us here on the Marcia Weeks show. Judy Jilks, who, when she did not see that, she didn't see the link coming out early because it took me a little time to get the link out today. She messaged, and I didn't even need to listen to that message. I knew exactly why she was calling. Thank you, Judy, for caring enough to call. Lucinda Allen, thank you. It was great to see you all on Saturday. I tell you, I get energized, Marva Hunt and Matthew B. Matthew B is such a team player. We all of us we work together, and so once there's a march, Matthew B is advertising the march. to his followers. And it's so great, Mavis, last year when we worked together. Hi, Josh, Flo, Joe, Marcia Miller. Welcome, Sandra Brewster, Lori Bob, and Nicola Ward, Patricia Green. How are you doing? Mystic Angel, Carol, Jacqueline, Aline, Sir Alfred Benjamin. I am a big girl. Do I know who that is? I suspect I know who it is, but I'm not sure. Tanisha, good night. Judith and Clark, we miss you, but I know why. We're due a little chat. Sherry Berry, Angela Burke, and we're thankful, Judy, that all went well with your doctor, those medical issues. Let's put it that way. I'm very happy to know. Izzy, Pete Way, how are you? Oh, I tell you, yes, she's away again. She's got to go. She's got to go. She was just on Charles Road Bridge, and then she's gone again. You know, Sharon Innes, Shirley. Oh my goodness, Cami. Cami, were you there on Saturday? I don't remember seeing you, Cami. Beverly, ADG, Shirley. What a family we have here. Sandra Pierce. Oh my goodness. I give God thanks. So everybody, you, Celine King. I'm Dalton. How are you doing, Dalton? Good to see you. Sharon Innes, John Clark. Toronto, John Clark. Oh, wonderful. Ingrid Moore. Noel. Hey, Noel. Noel called in last night. It was good to hear you calling in, a mechanical engineer, to give us some professional advice there. Sweet Pea, Lucinda, Bajan. I've never seen this one before. Bajan aerobic show. What going on? Did I say that good? What going on? Keith Kinch, good night. Doubler Walton. Good night. Good night to everybody. Folks, we're going to ask you to like and share tonight. We are going to be going down the road as fast as possible. At 7:15 in a minute's time, Victor Lewis is here to give us an update on Joe's River. We're going to hear about Joe's River. Then we're going to talk about Freundel Stuart, the slogan. Well, we're calling it a slogan, but it's something that he said, and I think it needs to be a slogan. I want us to make it into a slogan. Forget about political party, etc. This man said something, Mr. Honorable Freundel Stuart, and we're going to break it down tonight. And I want you to make it your hashtag. Make it your hashtag. Yes, something that Freundel Stuart. Let's defy them. You know, that's what we do on the show. They want the former prime minister to go somewhere and hide. And let's do the opposite. And that's what they want to do even with the Ronnie issue. Do you notice that there's crickets, silence, complete silence since Saturday? Not a word, because they're thinking that after 3 days, we're going to forget it. Do you understand? We are not going to forget it. We're not going to. So Sean is going to, Carter is going to come on the program, and he is going to talk to us about the Saturday's event and the takeaways from Saturday events. We're going to do that. We're going to talk about some constitutional changes that they are planning to make, and doing it so quietly, folks. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. They're not getting away with all of these things. And did you get anything in the mail from the Electoral and Boundaries Commission? I got mine on the refrigerator. We're going to look at that hopefully tonight. There's so much we have to look at, and hopefully we can get to it. Well, we are jumping right into Joe's River. I think I'm a minute late, 1 minute late, and we're trying to stay on target. And as the our powerful, and ever ready Victor Lewis gets ready to come on the program to share with us. We just want to do a summary of an article that was in the newspaper on Sunday. And it says Joe's River case, major twist in court. And it is saying, it's reporting that the main claimant suddenly changes his position. It is saying that Victor Lewis, who's about to come on, who for 2.5 years claimed to represent the entire Bathsheba and St. Joseph community, shocked the court when he testified he's representing only himself, not the community. It's also reporting that the article is reporting that the claimant's attorney amends the case at the last minute. The claimant's attorney amended the case at the last minute. Attorney Gregory Nichols made a late oral application to amend the claim, removing references to acting on behalf of the public. Claim now applies only to Lewis and Christopher Oliver as individuals. This is what this is reporting. Mr. Lewis is going to shed some light on that. The developer is arguing that there was never a plan to block public access, right? So Water Investment Limited, which is owned by Australian millionaire Richard Hines, he's claiming that. Okay. And it goes on. So we're going to invite Mr. Victor Lewis to come to us at this moment and to give us his viewpoint. Welcome again to Mr. Victor Lewis. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm fine.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So
your video is freezing up at times, you know. Your video?
My video is freezing up at times.
Yes, it's freezing at times. So I'm just wondering why.
Okay, so I'm going to keep going, and I will talk with others if that's what's happening.
Nevertheless, I am not here to give an update on Joseph. You know, I want to make it clear. I do understand what you're saying, you know, but the judge on the conclusion of the case on Wednesday last week said that he will give a judgment later. I am waiting on that judgment. So I don't want to comment on the content of the case. I really want to address the article which deals with the Joseph matter.
Okay.
So I just want to be clear on that one. Huh?
Yes.
So let me just bring the good night to the loyal opposition. You know, let me just bring the listeners up to date in that the case started last week, Monday. It went from Monday, the 10th, the 11th, and the 12th. On the 10th, Chris gave evidence via the internet. He is in Trinidad, you know, working on his foot, getting things sorted out with his foot. So he gave evidence via the internet from Trinidad. On Tuesday, I gave evidence along with another individual, a lady from Hillswick. Now, I think it is rather interesting or rather unfortunate that this article could reach the nation, could reach the public before the judgment was given by the judge. I would like to think that it is gross disrespect for Barbadians and disrespect for the defendants in a situation like this, because I would like to think that one needs to respect the position of the court. The judge says he needs some time before he makes a judgment. So I said to Marcy and I said to lots of individuals, you know, I will wait my time. I will wait my time before I comment on this case. Now let me bring some clarity to this whole concept of twist. In court, Chris was asked, just remember he gave evidence on Monday, I gave evidence on Tuesday. So let me speak for Victor. Let me speak for myself. In court, while on the stand, the judge asked me, who am I representing? I either had to be representing Victor Lewis or representing the community. The judge had before him the package which contained evidence from all those involved, from those who are claimants and for those who are defendants. All the information. That evidence either had to point towards information relating to the community. So I am there as a representative of the community, or the evidence in that package had to be related directly to me. So I was placed in the position where I had to decide, am I representing the community or am I representing Victor Lewis? Victor Lewis can speak for himself. I know how many times I would have gone to Joseph to fish, to bathe, to relax, how many times I've gone to Teacup and Saucer. I can speak to that. Can I effectively speak regarding the community as to how regular, how frequent, or otherwise the community was engaged with Teacup and Saucer or Joseph? So on the bench, Chris, along with myself, had to make a clear decision. The evidence is here before us. Tell us, who are you representing? The community or yourself? I could afford to stand up in that bench and speak to anything in that document that I would have said. I could not stay in that bench and speak to information directly relating to the community. Now, a very interesting question was asked. Not necessarily in court, but a question, let me say, fall off the truck. And that question is, who is the representative for St. Joseph? Seemingly implying that the representative of St. Joseph ought to be the person who should be representing the community. Of course, I knew that. Of course, Chris knew that. Of course, all of us knew that. Of course, the whole of Barbados knew that. In actual fact, the representative was there with us on several occasions addressing this matter in the initial stages. I am not the representative for St. Joseph. Can I speak on behalf of members of the community? Yes. Do I have evidence in this pack that is directly focused towards the community? Of course. Do I have evidence in this pack that directly speaks about Victor Lewis? Of course. Which of the two is better for me to take a stance on, that I can speak effectively on? So that is when I said, I am here representing Victor Lewis. So there in court, Chris and I, on separate occasions with no collaboration, Chris decided he is representing Christopher Oliver. Unknown to me, I was asked the same question, and the stance that I took was the same stance that Chris took. And this had nothing to do with whether we are divorcing ourselves from our community. That is our community. That is our community that we have embraced for years. Will we divorce ourselves from them? Oh no, but we had to take a stance there and then, that when the judge examines his evidence must point to the community or the person. In this case, we directed the judge to point the information, to point the evidence towards the individual. So it pointed towards Victor Lewis in one state, and for Chris, it pointed towards him. It is interesting that on Wednesday, This is my conclusion for what transpired on Wednesday. And Wednesday was the closing arguments. There are two positions: a statement of fact and one of technicality. So this is technicality versus fact. The representative or counsel took this stance. He said, whether this case is about Victor or whether it is about the community, whether they are here to represent themselves or they're here to represent the community, the fact remains. The common dimension is that there was an established path. It has been blocked and justice must be served. So regardless of the direction you go, whether you go with these individuals, separate and distinct, or whether you go on behalf of the community, the fact remains, established path, it was blocked, justice must be served. On the other side, a dimension of technicalities. Are these folks here to represent themselves or are they here to represent the community? Does the evidence that they're bringing to this court, is it reflective of the community or is it reflective of themselves? But I have a lot more to say. And that is the clarity that I want to bring. So when we saw this article in the Nation on Sunday, that was just an opportunity for salacious news. Something that sounds good, sweet, tasty, that people are looking forward to. Very salacious. That was the intent of the article on Sunday, to get people to gravitate and to try to throw cold water on what is transparent with this case. But regardless, we have taken our stance then, we have taken our stance now, and our stance will not change. And I want to make that absolutely clear. So let it be understood that there is no twist with Christopher or I or the other individual who gave evidence. Our stance remained the same. But we had to respect the court's position, the judge's request. Who are we here to represent? But I have a whole lot to say. Not a report, a thesis on this matter. It will come from episode 1, Marcia, hopefully down to episode 20. I have a whole lot to say, but let me respect the request of the judge until such time that he takes to give judgment. Let me hold my peace on this matter.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Lewis. And I want to say on behalf of Barbados and the rest of the residents in St. Joseph, thanks to both you and Christopher for, putting yourselves forward, on behalf of the community. And I want to, as you said, we are going to wait until the judgment is given by the judge before we start to make comments on details of the case, which is actually why I'm so surprised, Barbadians, that the Nation newspaper would have brought this article to the people of Barbados. And, it makes the way it was written, the way the article was written, I don't have any facts, but it's just my opinion. From reading it, it would appear as though it's a PR, it's a PR piece for the developer. And these are some of the reasons why we are so, when it comes on to media, we're so suspicious. Why? Why is it if the those in that are the claimants in the case are told to wait until after the judge gives gives his judgment, why is this being put in the newspaper? There is a reason to it. You see, and that's what I want us to understand, Barbados. I want us to reach to a level where we are so alert as to what they are doing. It seems to me, and it's my opinion, I'm just giving an opinion, I don't have the facts, but I've read that article and it sounds very fishy. It sounds as though it is an ad. It's a promotional material. It's promotional material for the millionaire developer against the St. Joseph residents. And if that is the case, I want to ask why. Media, do you see why we don't trust what you do? The trust in traditional media is just gone down to the dogs. And that's what I don't want to go into commenting on anything further, but just the act of reading that. We are going to abide by the judge's order that we do not comment on the case until his judgment. However, the Nation newspaper did not wait. I want you all to see that. Let me read some of the comments. Yes, that's right. The article is making it seem, Sharon is saying, that Victor and Christopher are backing down. Yeah, this is to me, you are meddling in justice. You are meddling. The newspaper, it is my opinion that the Nation newspaper is meddling into the outcome of this case. Somebody said the Nation is part of the same people that throw Ronnie under a moving bus. And the reason that you're saying that, Noel, I think it's your opinion you're stating, because the Nation newspaper is also owned by those who own Starcom. He says they're called the colonizers, puppets, blacks, people without shame. Somebody said Joe's River story sounds fishy. Somebody writes here, Marcia, the Nation, Starcom, same script, same government, same corruption, all one sinister agenda. But I know that, Angel Humble, and I'm glad you pointed that out. I want the rest of Barbados to recognize it. When you see it, use your intelligence that God gave you. This is the time that we are living in. Always follow the money. Always. I don't know if there was any money passed in this case. I'm making a general statement. And I'm saying my opinion is that it sounds like a promotional piece for the millionaire developer.
You know, Marcia.
Yes, go ahead.
I was out hiking on Sunday, you know, that's my usual thing, you know, and I was so shocked. I was so shocked when I took up my phone, you know, to read what Chris wrote in his chat relative to this article. I could have felt the pain in Chris's notes when he reacted towards this article, you know, and that is what hurts. Now, there is Chris in Trinidad, you know, trying his best to get his foot and everything sorted out. And Chris is still, you know, in Trinidad, taking this matter by storm and working his best to see, you know, in the best interest of us, Barbadians. that this case, that justice, materialize. And I was just a shock. The information you read just now is news to me, because when I saw the articles, it was rather unfortunate, and the reporter Maria Bradshaw, with all due respect, you know, at some point in time in life, one must be able to divorce themselves from money, 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 money.
Well, we
Or,
don't we don't
or
know. We don't
otherwise,
know. We don't know.
But the guiding principle here is, because the information there seems to convey to me that this person was sitting in court for the entire session, because the information there is detailed, verbatim, without wink, clear, crystal. So they were handed the docket from the court.
Possibly, or did they allow reporters in the courtroom? Do you know?
Well, no reporters, to my knowledge, were there, but there were individuals there, members of the public, who came in to sit. That was an option that was available, that members of the public can come and sit and hear the case, fine, but not in detail as I would have seen it there, or as you would have read relative to that article on Sunday. It is rather unfortunate, but nevertheless, reporters are reporters. They like salacious things, and if that is the option there by then, and people would stoop that low professionally or otherwise, it is rather unfortunate. But nevertheless, we move on. I am waiting on the judge. That's what I want to do. Wait on the judge, and then I will speak. Then Chris will speak. Then the whole of Hillswick will speak. Then the whole of Cleversville will speak. The whole of Bashima will speak. The whole of the loyal opposition will speak. The whole of Barbados will speak. If we have to speak, we will speak.
I tell you, the whole justice system, it is my opinion, is corrupt. The judicial system corrupt. Everybody, it's all intertwined. It's intertwined. And lots of what I see, my perception of it is that there's just a lot of conflict of interest, lots of things joined up together. It's muddy and it's messy, and so I mean, really and truly, what we need to do is to start how we spend our money, how we use our time. Where do we get our news from? We've got to watch that. How do you spend your money? I can't tell the last time I bought a Nation newspaper, and they won't be getting any of my money anytime soon. As I told you, I went into my car, into our car, and when we went in there online, we don't normally, as soon as we go in, we normally have Star Command. That's gone. That's history for us, because we're going to practice what we preach. They're gone.
Mm-hmm.
See, because these people, I don't think that they mean us any good.
I don't want Starcom or otherwise, because I took the same stance that you took. I heard you speaking on this matter last night, and I took the same stance today, that when my radio went to 92.9, I just switch it. I just don't want to hear it. I want to be able to respect people who can constructively criticize and criticize objectively. I can deal with that. But when we convey that we have a price tag on our heads, and some person can afford that price tag, it is rather unfortunate.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in bed with individuals with that kind of behavior.
Why would we? When you look at the work that you have done and the work that you have come on the show and have done, enlightening Barbadians about Joe's River, and I am going to be hearing from Ronnie Clark he's stating to me that Starcom says they have an issue with the show. And look at some of what you have done on the show. This is what I'm saying. Starcom, that's on there. Now you could see why they will have an issue with the show, because we're standing on the side of the people. We're standing on the side of the people. Look at what the nation went and did.
Not necessarily standing on the side of the people, you know. We're standing with truth.
With truth. Correct.
With truth. Yeah.
You understand? Thanks for that correction, which at this point happens to be the side of the people.
Precisely.
And they have an issue with the show, and I put out a challenge to Starcom. If they have an issue with the show, if they didn't say that, please come out in the public and say you didn't say that. But that is what is reported to us. Please come out and tell us that you didn't say it.
You got to invite them, Marcy. You got to invite a representative from Starcom to come in, you know, and really convey to the people what that issue is. You know, I would really love to hear it, so that, you know, it would kind of influence my thinking, and that my style or our style of approach on this show would be different, because maybe they have a point. So let them come in.
But the thing is, as Mr. Clark asked me, Marcia, did anybody ever call you? I said, no, nobody has ever said anything to me, you know, about anything. I've had where somebody might have said something on the show, and one of their persons would reach out and say, Marcia, somebody said something, you need to go on and correct that to me. And I would say, thank you so much. I'm always like that with people. I always listen. So they come and they tell me something, and I go and I will say, oh, well, let me check it out, and so on. And I checked with a lawyer, and I came back on the next night and corrected it. But that aside, what I'm saying is that what we do is that we're going to stand on the side of truth. And I don't think that what reading the Nation newspaper, the report in the Nation newspaper, sounds to me that it's a promotional piece on behalf of the millionaire who bought Jones River and you know, seemed to want to block the people from using Jones River. You know, I remember being there, and a car was put across the road in the roadway so that we would not be able to bring you know, all of our sound equipment, etc. This is on the property, the government property, the land that belongs to the people, that the people have been using ancestrally. We were blocked. We were blocked. And if it is not the developer who put the car there, then who would? It has to be somebody who really is vested in that whole case, that they would put. And I had to put the things on my head, all the sound system, the breadfruits, all of these things that all the big things, women. We had to do that because somebody took their car and blocked the roadway. And that is how that developer behaved. I don't know if he did it, but that is the spirit when you watch him. Okay? That's how he carries himself, as though he has all of this authority. I went to Jones River, and I don't know who did it. But somebody sent a car to follow me from Jones River to my next location. I was followed. I want Barbados to know I was followed by a vehicle, an open back van. Do you understand? This is the kind of thing that we're dealing with when we are seeking to bring truth.
But tell me something, Marcia. You know, this might be on a slightly different note. And I'm just casting something out there, you know. This is probably the prelude now to the episodes that will come. Tell me something. You know, use your brain, Marcia, and think. The Attorney General of any country is the chief law enforcement officer, the chief. Yes. He or she is the person at that top. That person is well versed in law. as it relates to Barbados, head of planning and development in Barbados is the Prime Minister of the country.
Yes.
That person, to our knowledge, is a lawyer. Again, well-versed in law. You want to tell me that two people, the chief law enforcement officer of this country, who wasn't representing St. Thomas, nor St. Philip, nor Christchurch, but representing St. Joseph, the chief, the commissioner comes under him, the assistant commissioner, and all the above came under him. Are you telling me that this same individual is qualified or otherwise to stand up in court to defend the people of Bathsheba on this matter when he sat down alongside the Prime Minister of this country? Two people who are well versed in the law and knew very well that the prescriptive rights of the people of this country has been established for years before I was born. The George River. You think that I had a right in court? No. You think that Christopher had a right in court? No. None of us had a right in court. But two people who are well versed in law, the chief law enforcement officer and the Prime Minister of this country, both of them, it appears as though they forgot that we have prescriptive rights. I don't know, but I'm waiting on the judge. So, Marcia, let me time out. Let me wait.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody's asking the name of the investor. And so that's the name of the investment company, and it's owned by Richard Hines. He's an Australian millionaire. I don't know where they come from coming in here, coming to take over.
Not Hines, not Hines, not Hines, Hines, H-A-I-N-S, Hines.
Spell it, please. We spell it wrong.
H-A-I-N-S.
H-A-I-N-S. Okay, H-A-I-N-S, guys. Hines, not Hines. There's an A missing. All right. Well, let me just say thank you for coming on tonight, and we await the judgment of the judge, and we will take it up from there. Thank you so much, Mr. Lewis. Thank you. Is there anything else you wanted to say to us?
I guess I'd eat hungry. Take care, people.
Listen, make sure as soon as them breadfruit start that you keep a breadfruit for me.
Yeah, but of course, I spoke to McDonald, and we want to have a cookout in the George River area coming up sometime in December, just after, and Marcia, we're inviting you down, with the cameras and all the above.
Not just for the cameras, but all of us. We need to make a Christmas. Listen, we need to make a Christmas picnic of this. You and I are going to talk, and we're going to make this really special. Okay?
Yeah, man.
And we come down, and we're gonna have the best of time down there.
Man. Big bashment at George River.
Big bashment at George River.
So McDonald and I, we spoke. He is self-employed, so his schedule is, very, very, very sporadic, So he says, well, this is what we will do, and we will be going to have our nice, how we just come up with the soup, we don't come easy,
No, I know. And my breadfruit and everything.
Yeah, man.
Listen, we're gonna have a special time up there.
Yeah, we have that plan for early December, just after the independence celebrations, and we'll be on shore.
We're gonna make it a bus ride and picnic. And we
5-star.
Right, we're gonna end up there. We're gonna end up
there.
Man. Dave, what you say to that? I thought big, Yeah, so that we will put it over into that, Dave, and just go
right.
Yeah, go down there, okay? All right.
All right, take care.
Not the power, not the few. We flying blue, gold and black, always true. Stand up, Barbados. This is your fight too. They came with smiles and the Bible of change. Talk about transparency, but now it's all strange. Pirate tape laws with no oversight. Penalties heavy if you don't show up right. Secret deals signed in executive rooms. No foyer, no integrity. Just doom. Millions spent, no watchdog in the yard. Auditor shouts, but they playing it hard. Rising tides won't take what they steal. The people are restless, so can't you feel? Truth on the rise and we won't be silent. Voices of the many, yeah, we're getting violent. Stand up for your rights, for the freedoms won in struggle and fight. We not blue, yellow, orange or red. The only flag we wave got the sun overhead. United we stand, divided we fall. Barbados belongs to one and all, not to a party or an oligarch's game. We are the craftsmen of our faith. They talk about love, 230 deep, but power makes promises they don't keep. Backroom negotiation, a political game. While the people suffer, they're chasing their fame. We passing the mic, sharing the pain. Each story a shout. We won't go in vain. From the south to the north, we're taking a stand. With unity and pride, holding hands across the land. Create a new vision, rise from the ashes. In the heart of our people, we'll turn up the flashes. Stand up for your right, for the freedoms won in struggle and fight. We not blue, yellow, orange or red. The only flag we wave got the sun overhead. United we stand, divided we fall. Barbados belongs to one and all, not to a party or an oligarch's game. We are the craftsmen of our faith.
Hear the cries of the youth, hear the elders call. Don't let the system make us feel small. Together through music, through rhythm and rhyme, we'll carve out a world where justice will climb.
So let's rise like the sun, illuminating our way, with truth as our armor, justice in play. Barbados, we're here, we're claiming the light. Stand up, embrace the power tonight.
Folks, we will continue to stand up for what is right, for what is just. We will continue to stand up for justice. Yes. Good night again to everybody. I'm going to ask you to share. I'm going to ask you to like. Did you share? You came on tonight. Did you share yet? Welcome to those who just joined. I see like quite a number of you have joined. We're now up to 938. And I tell you, we are going to, at this point, we're going to talk about a slogan by the former Prime Minister Freundel Stuart. And I'm going to ask everybody to share this up. What I'm doing tonight is very radical. You know how we are here on the Marcia Week show. We're going to speak the truth and speak it ever. Cost it what it will. He who does, something, I can't remember how it goes, but there is something that we used to say in school, and I don't remember the end part of it. But speak the truth and speak it ever. Cost it what it will. And I can't remember how the rest of it goes, right? So, folks, I need you to share it up, share it up, share it up, share it up, share it up. So Dave, let's get ready with the first slide. Now, in 2007, okay, 2017, let's correct that. The former Prime Minister Freundel Stuart, he made a statement: Barbados is more than an economy; it is a society. Now, before I while we wait on Dave to put the PowerPoint slide up, I'm going to ask those in the comment section. Did you know about this statement before we shared it on the program last night? Did you know about this statement by the former Prime Minister Freundel Stuart before last night, before we spoke about it last night on the show? Anybody? No, Noel said no, never heard of it. Anybody else? It was the first time? Yes, Donnie Calendar says yes, it was spread widely at the time. Pedro, somebody said no, another person says no. Tanisha said no. Okay. Yes. Okay, so there are a couple people. Joshua said yes. Yes, I heard it. Gardner says that. Somebody said David Thompson said that in 2007 to 2008. Okay, you can let me know. I just know it to be attributed to Mr. Freundel Stuart. That's what I saw in the newspaper. Okay, thanks. If that is so, can somebody send me just send me where he said it? Okay, somebody said no, they never heard it. Okay. Okay. Well, whether it is that's what I love about this show, because a lot of things I heard it. The first time I heard of this was through someone from the show, not last night. I did hear of it before, but it came from someone who was on the show who shared that with me. Okay. Yes. So yes, they're saying it was first said by David Thompson. Okay. So again, just send me the where the source of that is, and then we will make that correction. But as of right now, the source, my source, says that it was said by Honorable Freundel Stuart, former Prime Minister of Barbados. Okay. Okay, right. I'm seeing. Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. Wonderful. 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 Cami, we're going to come back to this again. Cami, can you send me that in my WhatsApp that you just wrote there? Cami, you wrote something at 8 p.m. If somebody could take a screenshot and send that to me, because when we are dealing with Ronnie's case a little later, we're going to bring that up, right? Okay. Thank you. So this saying Barbados is more than an economy, it is a society. All right. I want to reflect on that, because sometimes we hear something and we wonder, what does that really mean? It sounds great, and we might have an inkling of what it means. So we want to kind of dig into it tonight. All right. So Dave, if we could go to the next slide. And again, I'm saying that I am attributing it to him, because that's where I heard it, and that's how it was told to me, and that's the source that I saw. In Prime Minister Freundel Stuart's message in 2017, he says Barbados is more than an economy. Barbados stands at a crossroads at the moment with major privatization proposal. And when we think about the speech that he made in 2017, we can see how applicable that speech is today. You agree with that? We're doing this together. We're talking together. Yeah? This speech that was made by Prime Minister Freundel Stuart, whether he got the concept from David Thompson or not, he would have been deputy prime minister too. So it's possible, very, very possible. But his speech revisits why this philosophy matters today. Anybody? Oh, they're having class, you know. Why is it that this philosophy that Barbados is more than an economy? It is a society. Why do you think that it really matters today? Let's see any comment. We're working together. I'm waiting on a response. I'm waiting on a response. And I'm doing this because this kind of government that we have right now, they're very skilled at twisting things. They are skilled at propaganda. And they would want us to believe that this man on the screen has never done anything for Barbados. In fact, and I'm going to get myself in trouble right now, but you know what? I'm accustomed to that, and I guess I like to get myself in trouble. Any other party has done good for Barbados, right? Except the Democratic Labour Party, and nothing good. They can't do anything good, and they can't say anything good, right? Nothing. Well, this statement originated in the Democratic Labour Party, and the newspaper attributed, well, I guess because that's the time when Prime Minister Freundel Stuart gave the message, and they reported what he said. And I see my phone ringing, but I can't answer now. There's somebody who's calling me to put this straight, and I know what he's doing, but I can't stop to answer right now. So I'm going to ask that particular person that I'm asking that particular person who is calling me to go ahead and to write what you're saying. And a lot of people are letting me yes, I'm hearing that that it was first said by David Thompson, former Prime Minister David Thompson, and then by Freundel Stuart, which would make sense. He was carrying on, right, the work of David Thompson and the philosophy. So that's quite fine. But we're dealing with a particular speech that was made by Prime Minister Freundel Stuart in his message. And that's what we're dealing with tonight. Okay? All right. Now, let me read your comment. Jacqueline says that the people are looking at the economy, but forgetting about the people in the society. But what does that really mean? Because we're using back the same words. Okay, I'm being a teacher now. You're using back the same words that's in the slogan, or we're making it a slogan in the statement. What do you really mean? Break that down, please. No, nobody else? I'm waiting. Okay. I know you're thinking about it. Okay, so you're commenting on Prime Minister Freundel Stuart when I'm trying to get us to look at the statement. Okay, the next slide, Dave. What Stuart truly meant. What Stuart, or what when that message was given, and he used that statement, whether the statement originated from David Thompson or not, Stuart used that statement, and he used that statement when he was combating the report that Mr. Strawn, who was then in the opposition, said we must do away with this transport board and privatize it. And former Prime Minister Stuart responded with this statement, with this philosophy. And what was he doing? He was pushing back against the idea of running Barbados like a corporation. He was pushing back against the idea of running Barbados like a corporation. How many of you agree with that? Should Barbados be run like a corporation? What does that mean? Because a lot of times, you know, I remember you would hear people say, well, you know, we have to vote because for this particular person because we're thinking about the economy. And is it a case that when we're thinking about the economy, we're thinking that it needs to be run like a corporation? Do you know what I did? And you can do it yourself. And again, they're going to curse me for this, but I went, thank God, and I did a little research and I saw that generally, the prime ministers who are BLP tended to be more along this line. Now, I must say of Mr. Owen Arthur that he really was trying to do to bring a balance, even though he wanted as well. What I found, and I can be corrected, but what I found was that he was more leaning towards that. He was trying to present more of a balanced approach. And I think if he was here today, he would be more saying, let us fix what we now have, which is a balancing. We have the private sector and we have the government. I think that is what Owen Arthur would be pushing. But that just from reading what he was saying. Mr. Stuart also meant that citizens are not customers. Prime Minister Motley, do you realize that citizens are not customers? Public services are not revenue streams. We are not customers. We are not commodities. We pay our taxes. That's why you tax us so much. Over the last 7 years, we are the most taxed generation. Well, the 7 years is not a generation, okay? But we have endured. We have paid more taxes in the last 7 years than any other time in the history of Barbados. Correct. Thank you, Adrian. And you were dealing with this on the program. Okay? When we look at a micro level, this society is being destroyed because they are focusing on businesses, on profit, on revenue. And we are just asking the question, so what has happened to our tax dollars? If we're most heavily taxed in the history of Barbados in the last 7 years, what has happened to the tax? The taxes. I listed to you the number of taxes. And you could just go and research it for yourself if you don't believe me. Stuart is saying that government has a moral duty to protect vulnerable groups. Hurricane says you can't cause the merchant class to gallop ahead and leave the population in sackcloth and ashes. That's what they are doing with this macro, at the macro level. Oh, the economy is doing great. And, you know, I was speaking to somebody only this week, and you know what? I guess the bug, it reached her, and she was so getting a little depressed because people are just asking for basics, money to go to the supermarket. And trust me, it makes you sad. Paul Messiah says privatization of transportation is for economics, not concerned about family or society. And I want us to stay with this tonight. And don't get twisted, because we are looking at something that Stuart said in a message. But it is something that makes sense. It's how you run a proper government. It's how nations are supposed to be governed. It's good governance. It doesn't matter who said it. Dave, the next slide, please. Thank you. John is saying that it means that the well-being of our people is more important than government using our limited resources and services to generate short-term profit. Barbados is social model. We have a social model. Ms. McLean went through that last night. Free public education and universal health care, free bus rides for pensioners and students, reliable, safe public water system. Do you see that is part of our social model? The people in St. Lucie, they have not gotten that for years. Okay? But this is where there is a social model that governs our country and allows the country to run properly. And when you start to put profit over people, it's when you're going to, that's where you have the problem. You're no longer building a society. You see? And I will tell you this. This is, at the end, I will say this. But Dave, move to the next slide for me, please. Sanchez says they stretch every tax dollar and follow. It's the way they're governing. Sharon says the society is the people. We can't spend what we don't have. We tax out the water, the economy, and the society must go hand in hand. Somebody said, I'm growing up, I always hear that this government is for the rich, not the poor. And we're seeing it. A political party should put service of the people above economic gains. I'll go further than at Aaron and saying that the government, any party that is governing, that's why we are paying taxes. Look at the water that is being offered to St. Lucie. The people, especially now today that the rain fell. In that statement that Stuart made in that speech, Barbados is more than an economy, it is a society. Former Prime Minister Freundel Stuart is saying that social services exist to promote equity. Equity. Government, equity, not profit. And especially in what's happening in the country right now, the middle class is being wiped out. So when you begin to take the social services from us, what's going to happen? We're going to have a whole set of people who can barely survive in this country. Mr. Stewart is basically saying some services must lose money to remain accessible. I hope this government is watching. You see, and it is because of this, that proposal, the proposal that they have about privatizing the transport board, introducing a private mass transit system, we are declaring now, the people of Barbados, we must let it be known loud and clear that it will remain a proposal. You are here watching me on behalf of the government. Read my lips clearly. I am encouraging the people of Barbados. Will they do it? I don't know. I can't speak on their behalf, but I'm using this platform to say to them, let this remain a proposal. Stuart's belief is that economic logic alone damages social stability. That was what he was saying in the speech. In that speech, he was saying economic logic alone damages social stability. What happens when bus fare raises? Because once it's private, what can you do? What can you do to ensure that the price remains the same? The price of the bus fare doesn't increase? Sharon Innes says, even the Bible speaks about taking care of the fatherless, the widows, etc. Yeah. Social stability, what does that mean? When it says social stability, what are we talking about here? Social stability, what does that mean, people? Let me wait on you. I'm not going to rush this. It damages social stability. What are we talking about here? So we've gone past this, Anthony Carter. We've gone past it, and we're talking about the fact that the message that I am referring to was Mr. Stewart's message, where he made the statement in that message. So I'm speaking of that. We've gone past this. Let's move past this, folks. All right, and let's get to the meat of the matter. Sometimes we stay a lot on the trivial stuff. So we passed that, and I know you probably came into the discussion later. All right. So, but when we talk about damaging social stability, what does that mean? We're at school tonight. Okay, this is the education part of what we do. People are afraid. Okay, yes. One shorty says, if you can't afford health insurance or pay a private doctor, just call the undertaker when you feel sick. Okay, all right, you're pushing it there on shorty. Social stability means that they do what they feel like, and the people just comply, bow down before them. Yes, that could be as well. Anybody else? What does it mean? Social stability. Anybody else want to respond to that? Social stability. We're talking here about what about crime? Right? Lack of social order. So we are seeing a lot of crime in society. And we know that since this government came in, crime went up over to 90-something%. The year after they came into power. You're going to see more crime, drugs, prostitution, lack of social order. Yes? Dave? All right. The success of a society is not determined by economic output. Yes. Yes. Okay, sugarcane, breakdown in family. Yes. Yes, yes. Yes, you said a rise in crime overburden on social services. Yes. Yes. So these are some of the things that you're going to see. Yes. Okay. All right. So the next slide. So this is some of the deviant behaviors that we're going to say breakdown in social order. Yes. And right. So stay with me, guys. We're going somewhere with this. I think this is so important that we're doing this thing tonight. The next slide. Oh, that ship is saying the state of social order and harmony where social institutions function effectively and norms are widely followed, leading to predictability and security. Yeah, that's what societal order means. Yeah. Okay. The current privatization concerns. Transport board proposal, there'll be layoffs. Private operators, route restructuring. Now, as Ms. McLean said, or I think it was Friday, if it's privatized, then what about the people in St. Lucie that right now, I mean, it's tough for them with transportation, but if you don't have a lot of people in the, you don't have the passengers and you're running a private enterprise, are you going to be feeling obligated to carry those passengers or to continue that route? Teroni said people are financially stressed out, and when they're financially stressed out, this is some of what happens. And some of you don't want me to even go through this here because it was a message from Freundel Stuart. The fact you can't erase the facts, That's what I love about this show. They're not going to do this in regular media because we are supposed to be fed and we are supposed to believe that they did nothing and nothing. This statement could never have come from that group of people. Freundel Stuart could even have repeated this from David Thompson back in 2017. No. Yeah. Next slide, Dave. Thank you. Let's look at social democracy versus market governance. And I think that is really what it comes down to this. Mobility, Stuart is basically saying mobility is a right. Social equity is priority. It talks about privatization risks, and we talked about some of that last night. Abandoned roots. This is why he would have made the statement at that time in that message, because these are things that he must have been thinking of. Abandoned routes, higher fares, reduce access. We've said before, market logic serves profit, not the people. Kim says she believes the governor of the central bank is lying to Barbados. Will the pensioners travel free on the new privatized electric buses? We don't know. Those are some of the things that we have to ask. Somebody says if you want to think it bad, wait till you want to put she in for a third term. Crop a smoky pipe. I think I know what that means. Judith says you got that right. I'm already thinking of if I live to see the next 4 years, what I will do to still survive. Colin Roach says this nation took an immediate nosedive. Public services took a major hit. That happens when you sell and lease those assets that generates revenue for public works. Correct. That's a good question. Yes, Dave, if you could go to the next slide. Thank you. I only have 3 more minutes in this segment. The human impact. These are some of the things that are implied by the statement by Mr. Stewart. Transportation is a lifeline for rural parishes. Students, seniors, and workers rely heavily on public transit. Privatization risks creating a two-tier system. But you know, they don't seem to matter about a two-tier system. They don't seem to worry about it. Stephanie says this will lead to the poor becoming destitute, the middle class becomes poor, only the rich living high. Correct, Stephanie? Yeah. Well, some people say with the severance pay, they might be able to buy the buses. I don't know. We have to look now at concerns about will the same thing happen with water, with BWA, with the Barbados Water Authority? We have been saying this on the show. I remember Caswell and Kimar, myself, we were saying this for a long time on the show, that privatization is coming. Is wider privatization coming? And we just have a few more slides, guys, because let me finish this and we're going to go right into Ronnie and NCF is coming up. But we've got to do this. This is too important. Increasing reliance on private healthcare providers. Is that what is going to happen? We see where it is being alleged that they took up private taxpayer money and gave it to the private hospital. Yes. And people, and it is being alleged that some of the equipment that was down in St. Lucie is what was given to the private hospital. Those people opened a brand new private hospital, and there was Mia Motley and Jerome, Jerome, what am I saying? The wrong name is, Jerome Walcott. I almost say Walters. What am I thinking? They were there to cut the ribbon. A private hospital that most of us would not be able to pay money to go to that hospital. So we have to ask these questions, because right now at the hospital, we are seeing people are sleeping in the corridor on beds. Did you all know that? People are sleeping in the corridor on beds, on mattresses at the hospital. Very soon, what they're going to come and tell us? We're going to have to pay for health care. Is that what is going to happen? Is that what they're going to do in education? Why they can never get the schools ready? The schools can never be ready. Rats, roaches running down the children. Is this what, before they claim to have left the IMF, is this what they signed off that they have to do? Thank you, Anthony Carter. Yes, people remember that PM Barra said that the Transport Board was not designed to make profit at the expense of getting people, goods, and services move across the country to keep the economy working. That's what Anthony Carter is saying. Yeah. Well, folks, I think that's it. That's our last slide. And someone might feel like I'm sticking. I can literally feel that happening. You know, let's quickly compare the Stuart's view and by extension David Thompson's view. And if Dave could come, I think I am sticking, and I think I know what it is. If Dave could come to the top to where I am, and I know exactly what is happening. Stuart's view: society first, protect the vulnerable, keep essential services fully accessible. I need to be plugged in. Right? Current policy direction. The current policy direction based on the leaked document. Based on the leaked document is saying privatization and market-based efficiency. That is what the policy direction. Privatization and market-based efficiency. A reduced state role, and the citizens absorb the cost. So right there on the screen, you can see the difference in the philosophies. And this is not about pushing, I'm not here pushing Stuart or pushing Thompson, God rest his soul. I am comparing the philosophies. Correct. And I'm agreeing with you, Marva. I said in my house today, I would love to hear from those parties that I voted for. I voted for the APP the last election. The election before that, I voted for Solutions Barbados. I don't hear them saying one word about this. What are you saying that I can come and present on it? Okay, so I got to move on, right? Is there another slide, Dave? I still feel like I'm sticking. I'm sticking. There's a delay that is happening. Am I delaying, or is just in my mind? I'm delaying. There's a delay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave the studio and come back in. Dave, I know you have a song to play. Go ahead, Dave. And we're going to be dealing with Ronnie Clark when we come back.
Errol Barrow could talk today. I got something to say. Boy, 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 boy. Raise your flag, but open your eyes. If I, Errol Barrow, had to speak today, what I see would break my heart away. Nothing changed, just a mirror frame, same corruption, just a brand new name. My people, I'm sad to say, you reaping all you sow today. The pride and industry fade away, and now we fighting to find we way. Life at two extremes, I tell you so. Hope and hunger, high and low. Poverty mixing with champagne flow, but poor man still can't grow. Suffering and celebrating, starving while them still partaking. Nations rise, time to break that spell. Stop showing contempt for yourself. To say you can't change when thieves lead the way. Corruption sweet when give us pay, and government take what poor man lay. Taxation high like mountain peak, while schools and roads still spring a leak. Them flying high, them living sleek, but poor man vice still 2 weeks. So tell me now, who you blaming? Who make the system shaming? Them raise the dead, destroy the cane. No migration needs the pain. You will lead us like the clay, and now me are playing God today. Talking sweet but turn away from the people who make she laugh, she bend and smile she wear like she care, but she can't share. You think she love, you think she fair, or she trying to run you from here? Errol watching from up above. Virgins where the unity and love we used to build, we used to fight. Now we just beg and say alright. Let we rise again, take back pride, build Barbados from inside. And I, Errol, gone back to sleep again. Errol, but I pray next time I wake, my people go rise, rise, I say. Bin Shar still alive. Boy, you sell it. Boy, you sell it. Bin Shar still alive. We just need to revive. Bims are still alive. We just need to revive.
Well, good night again, guys. Listen, folks. Can you hear me? I'm sticking. I can see myself sticking, and so I'm going to let Sean welcome Sean, and I'm not going to hold up the program. We're gonna not let this stop us tonight. You know, you know how we roll. So, Sean, if you are hearing me, you take this over. You know what we're going to talk about, and I don't even need to be on the screen. Go take it away, Sean. Go right ahead.
Hey, good evening, Marcia. I am hearing you a lot better. You're not sticking as much as before. It's a pleasure to be here again. Thank you for the opportunity. Firstly, I just wanted to give thanks to Barbados, the entire country, all who came out in support of and to stand with Ronnie, the announcer Clark, on Saturday. You know, usually in our culture, when there's rain, people tend to not come out in their numbers, and that was not the case on Saturday. So it was very heartening to see persons coming out and supporting the announcer on Saturday. So firstly, thank you to all the persons that came out. Thank you to the loyal opposition. Thank you to the members of BACA and like I said, the general public and Barbados for coming out and supporting the announcer. Ronnie delivered as he promised. He brought evidence, he brought facts to refute the claims that were made by Starcom Network in the newspaper articles when they said that the dismissal of Ronnie Clark had nothing to do with the song that was sung. And Ronnie brought evidence on top of evidence on top of evidence, letters, emails that he would have received, dating all the way back to 2024, October 2024, November 2024, up to 3 days before he received the award for outstanding service at Starcom Network. So for the time I saw the statement that was made in the press, it did not make sense at all. Because how can you be given an award for distinguished and outstanding service and then you say to us that this dismissal has nothing to do with the song that was sung, but it has to do with the work performance of the individual. An individual who has had a stellar record for the last 25 years at the institution of Starcom Networking. So as well, I give thanks to Ronnie for being brave enough, being bold enough, and wise enough to have kept the documents that were sent to him. As you would know, throughout this entire ordeal, Baka was standing with, I should probably have started there. I speak tonight in the capacity as not just Apache, as a Calypsonian, but Sean Carter, the president of the Barbados Association of Creators and Artists. And as I was saying just now, from the beginning, from the inception, we have been standing with the announcer. We would have sent letters to Starcom Network from the time the song was banned. We asked for clarity, gave them an opportunity to clear the air, and there was very little response that came from Anthony Green when we sent our first letter. We followed up that letter with another letter. We got absolutely no response to the second letter. All this time, Ronnie said nothing publicly. You would have just been back and forth between Starcom Network and ourselves. At this stage, there was no need for Ronnie's legal team, his lawyer, to be involved because there was no disciplinary action that was taken against him. If you read even the letter that is on the screen, you will see it clearly states that there's nothing that is stating that you are guilty of any wrongdoing. There's no discipline. This letter does not say or dictate that it is a disciplinary action. So at that point in time, which would have been July, the only thing that would have occurred at that point in time was punitive measures against the announcer and punitive measures for the release of the song. There was absolutely no reason for the song to be banned in the first place. There was nothing libelous about it. Four sets of lawyers vetted the song, found nothing wrong with it. Starcom themselves couldn't find anything legally wrong with it. There was nothing libelous, nothing defamatory. As was revealed over the weekend in Independence Square, Ronnie presented the letter that was sent to him by Anthony Green, which outlined that there was a complaint made against him, and the complaint was that there was a personal attack that was made against the CEO of the National Cultural Foundation.
Mr. Carter, if I can just pause you there and let's look,
Sure.
because what's on the screen is actually it's verifying what you said, and there's nothing. I'm an accountant and I love source documents.
Yeah.
And so I know you're summarizing it, but this letter that's on Starcom's letterhead and was sent to, and I want people to take note of the date, because I think the date is very, very important. The date, because when I saw 2024, I said back to Ronnie and I said, there's something wrong. The date is wrong. Didn't realize what was going on from that time. But let's just read a little of what it says here. And I'm just reading the letter, and that's on Starcom letterhead. Starcom will have to say whether this letter came from them or not, right, Mr. Carter? They will have to say that. But it says allegation of personal attack on Miss Carol Roberts. Further to our discussion on September 17, 2024, where we discussed the subjected matter, Starcom Network Inc. has launched an investigation into the allegation brought by, what did it read there? Barbados. I'm a teacher. What did it say? It was brought by whom? Miss Roberts. Miss Roberts alleges that she was the target of a personal attack on social media by the program manager of Starcom, Ronald Clark. Ms. Roberts also shared via WhatsApp the insults made by made via your Facebook page. Insults. Now, what we want to do as well, while I just let you continue, I just wanted to read that for people.
Mhm.
And so they've launched an investigation because of what the allegations of this personal attack that was made by Miss Roberts. Is that what you read there, Sean?
Yes, yes, that's correct. So this was the nucleus of the whole thing. This is the genesis of the whole thing. This is where it started. So from this letter, well, from the correspondence that was sent to Anthony Green, and then this correspondence being sent to Ronnie Clark, from the inception of this, I can tell you from back in May this year, May 2025, Ronnie would have reached out to me, and he would have made me aware of the, I would say, the harassment. He didn't use this word. I would use this word, the harassment that he had been receiving from management at Starcom, and namely Anthony Green. And this letter here that was shared publicly on Saturday for all to see and to hear. As he read it, as he showed it, hold it up, you could see the Starcom network letterhead on it. This was shared on Saturday. This is where it all started. And the thing about it is that the post that was shared on Nobby Clark's page, which is a private personal page. This is not the program manager of Starcom Networks page. He's not even using his name, Ronald Clark. The page says Nobby Clark. He responded as a Calypsonian to remarks that was made publicly by the CEO of the National Cultural Foundation. I also responded to those remarks. So there was a statement that was made by the CEO at the time last year in August, and it was stating that the standard of the Pickety Crop finals last year was at an all-time low. I responded to it in a press statement. The announcer responded to it on his Facebook page, and as a result of that, this letter was then issued to him. Now, the thing about it is that you can go back now to the announcers or to Nobby's Facebook page, and you can see the statements that were made. You can see he announced that his song for this year will be called the National Carol Festival. There were a few lines from the song, so you could see that the lines that he had from last year, he brought over into this year, made it into the song. There was no personal attacks. It was a response to what was said by the CEO of the National Cultural Foundation. This is where the whole thing started. So for Starcom to say that this had nothing to do with the song, when not only this letter, but I don't know if you have the information, Marcia, but I have a whole set of letters and information that was shared on Saturday. I have now in my possession that I think you're unmuted.
I was saying, Mr. Carter, we're putting them out a little by little. So
Right.
we're not going to let go of this, because if you notice, it's crickets. Right
Yes.
now, crickets. Nobody is saying anything.
Correct.
Because they're thinking that we're going to forget about it. But we're
Yes.
going to keep it alive. And they could do whatever they want to do. But we're going to keep it alive. And we're just going to read their statements. So
Yes,
this is just to corroborate what you are saying, Mr. Carter, is that, Dave, if you could go back to the first one you've just put up. Thank you.
Look at the date as well. These are the Facebook posts directly from Nobby's page.
Yes, thank you, Sean. Dave, if you go back to the first one, very good. Now, August 16th, that August 16th there, Sean, is 2024. And I love numbers. I've started actually doing a timeline of this, and I'm not finished yet.
Right.
When I'm done, I'm going to produce a timeline of the event so that people can see it clearly. Okay? August 16th, the announcer, National Carol Foundation.
Right. And it's very clear here who is speaking. The announcer.
Yes. Everybody, take your screenshots if you need to. Take your screenshots. See that this is a different age we're living in. They're not going to hide. And that, the next one, Dave, go to the next one, please, kindly. Thank you. because they're going to see that these are the lyrics. Might a word or two might change, but it's basically Ikohabla pot gone, party
Yeah.
monarch gone. But think it not strange, only Carol's hairstyle won't change. Didn't we? Isn't that what we hear in the song Apache thereabouts?
Exactly. Every lyric that is there.
Every lyric. So hold a minute. So then listen, Barbados. According to the letter we read before, these are the posts.
Yes.
These are the posts. So that means that is that what Miss Roberts was saying was a personal attack? So the song was personally attacking her? Is that what you're understanding, Sean, or am I getting it wrong?
That's exactly what I understand by it. And you know, from my appearances here before and in my other public statements, the song is absolutely factual. I can tell you, even before we issued press statements, some members of our executive were questioning certain lanes where in our letter or in our statement, our press statement, we were saying, you know, the Calypsonian is speaking truth to power. And they were saying, no, you can't say that, you know, you should say opinion. But it's not opinion, it's facts. If you go back to that slide and you see Kahabala Pot gone, everything that he mentioned that was gone is gone. So the song is very, very, very factual.
Yes, you're
Very
right.
factual.
And so I want I want us to take this in slowly. That's why we're giving you a
Yes.
little bit at a time. Because we have I think I have about 13 different letters or something like that. Or
Yes.
probably less, but pages, right?
Correct. Correct.
And we're giving you little at a time because I want you to understand what has happened here. And don't just, some of you say, well, it's just Ronnie. I want you to look beyond that. Okay. Fantastic 50th festival. And he praises because in the song, and that's Ronnie's temperament. He's going to tell the truth. Whatever he thinks is good, he's going to say it. Pet
Yes.
orgy, he said, failed and flopped so miserably. Culturally, don't mind the talk. Carol should walk. That's his opinion.
Yes.
That's his opinion as the announcer. And he's writing his song. So obviously he changed some of the lines in the song. National Carol Festival 2025. He's giving the name of his song.
Correct.
Or you understand that is coming up. The next one there. Bring back John King. He talks about this in his song too, right? Does he say?
So the slide before that, those lyrics didn't actually find their way or made their way into the song, but some of the stuff on this slide here have made its way into the song as well.
Yes, and right, and he you know, he did say that she knows calypso and all of that. So I know as a writer, sometimes you start something, but it carries the same thing. You might change up a few things and so on.
Sure.
But the point is this, that this Barbados was the personal attack on a public official who, by the way, went it wasn't on the television. Was it in the Nation or Barbados Today? And can you say then that she attacked the Calypsonians, or would it be a critique? I'm sure you wouldn't say she attacked the Calypsonians. She gave a critique of the Calypsonians and said that basically that what the Calypsonians had to offer is less than desired. Actually, I think that might be a quote.
Yes.
Can you speak to that, Mr. Carter?
Yes, I can, and I did at the time. And you know, there's a reference there in one of those slides from the announcer that mentioned the fabulous 50th, and there were many things that there were a couple of things that were happening. There was Cricket World Cup, and then there was the 50th celebration as it relates to crop over, and there were many things that crashed. There were even issues at the finals last year, picking the crop finals. And like you were saying, you know, the hypocrisy of the whole thing is funny. If it weren't so serious, it would be funny. Because she has they're saying to us, without saying it in words or in writing, they're essentially saying to us that she has the right to criticize all of the Calypsonians in the finals, and that is fine and that is accepted. But if one of these Calypsonians speak back or speak out, then it's a personal attack. So why wasn't it a personal attack on every individual Calypsonian when she made the comments that she made as it relates and as a result of the Pickett Cup finals last year? Because like I said, the press statement that came from Baca, or that came from me through Baca, was a direct response to these comments that were made. Those comments that were made on the announcer's Facebook page was a direct response to the comments that was made by the CEO of the National Cultural Foundation. So again, nothing personal, just addressing the issue. The whole song, the National Carol Festival, came out of these comments that were made by the CEO of the National Cultural Foundation.
So here it's saying that, and this is what I think it's important to understand, okay, and to highlight. Thank you, Sean. That the CEO of the National Cultural Foundation critiqued the Calypsonians.
Yes,
she did. And I know this is Dave's response, but she has a letter. There's a thing there that is, I mean, it's scathing what she had to say about the. Look at what it left a lot. She says that the standard of some of the material presented in this year's social commentary segment left a lot to be desired. While the association acknowledged the value of constructive criticism, it argued that the tone and context of Roberts' remarks risk diverting attention from larger issues, I was reading there, surrounding the festival, rather than fostering genuine improvement in the competition standard.
Correct.
Right? So are we saying then that the official can criticize? It's like, what are you guys, our children? You are her children? That you can't speak back to her?
And you're dealing with a set of professionals. The majority of the persons who would have made it to the Pickett Cup finals in 2024 have been doing this thing for over 20 years. Just like Ronnie. No different to the announcer. They would have been doing this thing for at least 2 decades. And you could call the names. You could call Adrian Clark. You could call Ed Webb. You could call Mr. Blood. These are guys that are professionals. These are guys that have been to that platform, have been to that stage on more than one occasion. They know how to rise to the occasion. The other thing, why we said there was that deflecting by the CEO of the NCF is that on the night of the finals, the show started extremely late. Right? You have the pressure of the competition. You have persons who are psyched out. And if you remember, even Webb himself, he was waiting so long backstage that when he finally came on stage, he had an issue with cramp that caused him then to forget his lyrics in his song. You had the first performer that came on stage, what's his name, Mr. DJ, where he forgot lyrics, because when they got to the venue on the night, this is Pickett Cup Finals 2024, he was there in the wing waiting to go on stage. The show started like an hour later. So you were, as a performer, I can relate to it. You were there. You are in the wing. You are psyched and ready to go on stage. It's different to if you're backstage in your dressing room and you're going through your different voice warming exercises. You're preparing yourself mentally and making sure you remember your lyrics. But when you are psyched and ready to go on stage, and then you have to wait an hour in a competition, that's disadvantageous to you. And that's why we said that, you can't deflect now and say that this was the poorest Pickett Cup finals that we've ever had, or that the standard of it was so low, when the conditions that the artists had to perform under was the absolute worst. So if you, for the artists that were able to rise to the challenges or rise above the challenges that they faced last year, I mean, kudos to them. It was extremely difficult conditions for the Calypsonians to perform under. And the Calypsonians, it wasn't the first year, it wasn't the second year, it wasn't the third year. But how long do you go on without exposing, without speaking? and without speaking to the public, because we would have had conversations at the National Cultural Foundation at that level where there was documented and we filed a history of when we first went to Botanical Gardens with the finals, when we moved from Kensington over to Botanical Gardens, and that in itself created a whole set of problems, fresh problems came. So this whole thing, I don't want to go down this separate rabbit hole. We want to keep it
Yeah.
focused on the issue at hand. But that is where it all stemmed from. That is where it all started, right? There were issues at Botanical Garden from the first time we went there. There were issues again last year. These issues were highlighted privately in our meetings. But again, when you can know of these issues and then you can come publicly and criticize the Calypsonians that had to operate under these conditions, then we had to speak. And rightfully so, the announcer, as a passionate Calypsonian, he spoke as well. And
But
every other
that's right.
Calypsonian had the right to speak back and to speak out against, because like you said, Marcia, you're dealing with professionals, you're not dealing with children.
Correct. This is not my child, and I say I tell you this, and then you can't speak back to me. My as
Exactly.
the children get older, they're gonna say, "But mom or dad, this is the thing, and I think that you were not fair." Or why are you? Sometimes my son will say, "But mom, hold a minute, you're raising your voice." And
Yeah,
my youngest, he knows, and he's quite calm. He's letting me, you raising your voice at this point here now, and then you realize that you kind of step back. You understand?
yeah.
But I'm
It should be
saying
done, should be done even in a, even like you're saying, even in a mother-son relationship, it should be done or built based on mutual respect. And we
correct.
ask
Mutual
nothing less.
respect.
We ask nothing less of the Ministry of Culture. We ask nothing less of the CEO of the National Cultural Foundation. Let us deal with these issues. We know there will be issues, but let me deal with them where there is mutual respect, not a talking down to and a criticizing and a pointing fingers at us when you did not do your part.
Yeah. And I want people, because there are lots of people, lots of viewers watching who they did not hear Ronnie's side. They did not
Right.
hear him, because that's the other thing about Ronnie, is that he's very professional.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
Right.
Ronnie, he never came to us and told, he didn't go into all these details. Afterwards, I said, my goodness, how could he be carrying all of this? And I think, if I'm not mistaken, up to just before he went to sing, I think the day before, after he did his, you can correct me, Sean, if I'm wrong,
Mhm.
when he went to do his mic, his technicals, after he
Yeah.
did it,
For
they
the
tried to
finals this year. Yeah.
didn't they try to pull him? Didn't something they tried to do something there to create an issue for him singing in the finals?
Yes. So again, this was not public knowledge, but this was what was going on behind the scenes. If you, I don't have it here tonight that I could send to Dave, but
Hmm.
I could make it available for future reference. But
Yes.
when you look at the contract, when you look at the rules of the competition,
Hmm.
the NCF reserves the right to tell you within 48 to notify you, or they have to notify you within 48 hours after the finalists are announced. You know who the finalists are. You sign your contract the next day. They have 48 hours to notify you if you have to change lyrics, if your
Hmm.
song has been deemed libelous or defamatory. Um, so Ronnie did receive a phone call. It was after, let me say that again, it was after the 48-hour period.
Hmm.
Um, it was not stated that the song was libelous or defamatory. However, they were saying that the song might be problematic. And I said to Ronnie, that is good, because to say that a song might be problematic, that's not a legal term. So there's no legal issue against the song. So there's no need to change any lyrics. Plus, as Ronnie already knew while we were having the conversation, the 48-hour period had already passed. But he did receive a phone call. He did have a conversation with the um, the arbiter from the NCF, and this would have been, as you said, Marcia, just a couple of days before the Pickety Crop finals on a Friday night.
So you're telling me that they were breaking their, if what you're saying is so, they were breaking their own rules that says after 48 hours after the names for the pick of the crop finals have been announced, then within that period of time, they can ask you to change your lyrics. However, they came to Ronnie after the 48 hours had already gone, right? And they were now saying the song could be problematic, not to tell him what part of what lyrics he needed to change. Because I've been part, I've
That's
been around the festival, and there have been
yeah,
times in our tent when they would
yeah,
come and they would say that you have to change lines,
yeah,
etc.
yeah.
And
I
the reason
myself had to change lanes.
you've had to change that, so you know the
Yeah,
process.
I know the process. Yeah,
You know the process, and the process based on what was reported to you doesn't seem like the process was being followed. They wanted to do something behind the scene to stop this song. So what I'm
yeah.
going through all of this from the letter. Let's take it easy. From the letter that said that that star
Personal
come
attack.
at the top of it, right?
Hmm.
And said that that allegations were made, thank you, brought by Miss Roberts
Yeah,
about the posts. We looked at the posts. We were very systematic tonight. We looked at what the posts were. And we saw that the posts made up 90 something percent of the song. Would you say that,
true.
Sean? So
Yes,
therefore, and this same song, you are revealing to us now that the NCF arbiter approached Ronnie saying that the song can be problematic, possibly could be problematic, right?
yeah.
After the 48 hours. Now,
After 40 hours. Yeah.
putting all of that together, I want to ask the audience, putting all of that together, it sounds to me that there was no way this song could win this festival.
So
That
it
might be.
does raise good questions. This information that has been revealed over the weekend raises fresh questions concerning the competition, concerning the song, concerning the announcer, but also you can't, and this is not an accusation, this is a question. If it can be done in this situation, how many other times has it been done in the past? How many other phone calls have been made that would have jeopardized an individual? And the other thing is, if you, Marcia, were to put something on social media against me, why would I have to go to your employer? Why not I go to you directly, or I get my lawyers to contact you directly if I think that there's a personal attack from you to me?
Okay,
But
you need to
this
come to the
precedent,
front of the class, Sean, because Barbados, listen to what Sean is saying and tell me. I'm not going to interpret it. Tell me what is he saying? That's why I tell you, Barbados, don't go to school on Sunday. Listen to say that again, Mister. Say that again, sir.
yeah, I'm saying that if you were to put something on social media against me, why would I go to your employer to address the issue? Why would I, one, either not address the issue with you directly, or if I think that I have that I think is defamatory, which is the accusation that's being made, that the posts that were made on the announcer's page, on Ronnie's page, that they were defamatory, that there were personal attacks against Miss Roberts. If that's the case, why not get your legal team or your lawyer to send a letter to Ronald Clark or to the announcer? Why the need to send a letter or to call Anthony Green at Starcom Network? So you are directly going after this person's job. That is what this letter is showing us, clear as day. You are not addressing the individual, and furthermore, it's public knowledge as well. I think it was in the Nation newspaper where Miss Roberts herself, she said publicly that she doesn't have an issue with the song.
Wow. She did not, but it's the same lyrics, Miss Roberts. Miss Roberts, it's the same lyrics.
Same lyrics that were on the Facebook
Same
page, same
lyrics.
lyrics in the song.
So when were you? So I wonder if she actually did call. Well, I guess Starcom need to say whether or not she made the complaint.
Well, this
About
letter is stating that she made a complaint. Whether it was a call, an email, or WhatsApp message, this letter is stating that she made a complaint because it's saying the allegations that were made. So allegations were made against Mr. Clark's character.
wow. So what? So if one would have to ask then, what is the truth? Is it true? Was she telling the truth that she had no problems with the song, or that because this is contradicting her? Wouldn't you say?
Excellent.
But I'm not a lawyer. I don't know, but it seems that
Excellent.
way. And Miss Roberts would have to answer that. There's a contradiction here, Miss Roberts, and it's confusing me.
Correct. This
Right?
letter is stating the direct opposite to what was said publicly by Miss Roberts. So we now have, because we didn't have this before. This was only shared on Saturday by Ronald. We didn't have this before. Ronnie only shared this on Saturday.
Yes.
So now the dots are starting to connect, and the more the dots connect, the more confusing the issue is, because it's not adding up. And again, when you look at Starcom Networks, I know I'm jumping the gun and rushing ahead to not too long ago. We're not sticking with the timeline, but when you look at the comments that were made by Starcom, they're saying that the firing of Ronnie Clark had nothing to do with his song. When the posts that were made on Facebook had everything to do with his song. This letter, this warning letter, not a disciplinary warning letter, but a warning letter nevertheless, that was sent from Anthony Green to Ronald Clark, has everything to do with the song again, because the content, as you just put up on the screen, as Dave shared just now on the screen, the content that was shared on August the 16th, 2024, is the exact lyrics that ended up in the song this year. And the lyrics that were not posted to the Facebook page would have been the first verse of the song, which in that first verse, there's absolutely nothing that anybody can say that was attacking, that was defamatory, that was libelous towards anybody, including the CEO of the National Cultural Foundation, because that first verse was actually praising Carol. It was highlighting her as a fantastic broadcaster. What excellent job she would have done throughout the years. It was praising her. It was praising the NCF. That's how Ronnie started the song in the first verse. And again, the song is there on YouTube for anybody to go and listen to if you're not familiar with the lyrics.
Yeah.
So there was nothing worse that was added to the song that was not presented in those few words or those few lines on Ronnie's Facebook page back in August 16th of 2024.
Wow, this folks, and because Ronnie spoke about it here, we're going to take the time and we're going to go through each piece of like in social media terms, we say the receipts. They're all here. And somebody, first of all, we are told that we are told, I got a little distracted there, but we are told, right, by Starcom that it did not have anything to do with the song. But Starcom, this is contradicting as well. This is the letter. This letter here is contradicting everything. Everything.
This letter started the process of events. It started right here.
It started because that's why I told them, if you see the timeline of everything, you will see this is the genesis, this is the first documentation of it, right? Ronnie would have made on August 17th, put the song lyrics on the but would you said something there that I don't want us to jump over, because sometimes we rush over things. So I am thinking here, is somebody put something out against me? Why would I need to go to their employer?
Exactly.
Seriously now, on a serious note. If I go to their employer, it means that I I want that person to be punished by their employer.
Correct. Or at least to be intimidated out of singing the song.
Mm. So you think that could be? We don't know. We can't think for her.
Well, I think history has proven that it has worked with other Calypsonians before, not necessarily going to their employers, but the fact of the listen, even let me keep it real, even on Saturday, right? The lack, and I voiced it on Saturday, I voiced it within the Baka general chat, and I will voice it on this program. The turnout of Calypsonians on Saturday was despicable. It was disappointing. And I know there were a few persons that would have contacted either myself or other members of the executive to say Ronnie has their support, but there were different reasons why they could not be there on Saturday, with the exception of those few, very, very few, right? The turnout of Calypsonians, the turnout of creatives, the turnout of artists on Saturday was disappointing. The majority of people that made it, that 200 or 300 people that were on the road, was Barbados. That's why I started by saying thank you, Barbados. Thank you, loyal opposition, for supporting Ronnie on Saturday. Because Barbados and the average man on the street far outnumbered the creatives and the Calypsonians. Why? There's a reason for that, Marcia. And the reason for that is that there's this fear of victimization. We've had lesser issues than this that have been affecting Calypsonians. We've had lesser issues than this that have been affecting entertainers and creatives, and they were scared to speak up. So you would see President Obaka Sean Carter speaking on behalf of people that are invisible because they are scared to speak because they feel that they will be victimized. So the powers that be, including the CEO of the National Cultural Foundation, knows that the intimidation tactics have worked in the past, and that's why I believe that they will try to do them in this situation, and they will try to do them again. The difference in this situation is that you have now met an individual that knows his rights and that are willing to take a stand for his rights and to stand up for his right, even until this stage. So it wasn't a case where Ronnie was ignorant as to what Starcom was threatening and what they were saying, because this thing started from 2024. He was well aware of the threat. He was well aware of how they were trying to intimidate him. And they said point blank, as some of your other correspondence or receipts will show, that they told him that you cannot sing this song, which is an employer overstepping their rights and infringing on the rights of their employee. So
Yeah,
this thing has many layers and many levels
many
where
layers.
we are seeing signs of inconsistency, we're seeing signs of injustice. And our position, Marcia, is as BACA, I speak on behalf of the executive of BACA, we will not be silent. And this situation will not blow over because we cannot allow this precedent to be set. This is far bigger than Ronald Clark. This is far bigger than the announcer. This has now crossed the border of being an internal Starcom issue to being a very, very serious national issue. And for that reason, we will not rest and we will not be silent.
Yeah. Someone says here that on his reported speech, I don't, I no longer listen to Starcom Network, so I would not know. But somebody says that Mr. Ellis told somebody today, don't know if Mr. Ellis did this or not. This person is saying that there's only one side there's more than one side to a story. Now that's true, and I think Mr. Ellis is very right in saying that there are more than one sides to a story. We heard the
Agreed.
side of Starcom, and we now heard Ronnie's side. Okay, and I think
Correct.
that is quite fair, and and he's right. That's a great statement, and we are talking now. That's why we're able to compare both sides, right? We heard
Yes.
their side. They said that it was because of performance. They said that, and now we are looking on a letterhead. We did not just
Yeah.
hear it. The letterhead is there, and the letter is here, and there's a signature at the bottom of the letter.
Yeah.
Dave,
So
can you
is
go up and let us see the signature and then play Dave wants us to play the first verse. Let's see the signature. It
okay.
says addressed to Ronald Clark, Starcom Network. Is there a signature or there's another piece to it? Probably we didn't put on the other. Oh, there's a signature there.
There's a signature on this one, yeah.
There's a signature. Who's Anthony Green? Unless somebody forges signature, is that his real signature? He could say whether it's his signature or not. We can't say. I don't know his signature, but the
I don't
Starcom
either.
Network logo is there, and there is a signature, and his name is there.
Yep. So there's the letterhead, there's the date, and there's a signature.
You know, I don't know the man's signature. I'm just looking at what is in front of me. What one would conclude that this letter, one could conclude the letter came from Starcom, signed by Anthony Green, general manager. But
Yeah.
the response to Starcom told the public that it was not because of the song. Now, another question there while Dave sets up the song, the first verse of the song, Dave. Somebody says, so why then didn't Miss Roberts request that CBC not play the song at all?
Very good question. You know why? Because there's no legal ground to ban the song. And the only person that could ban the song is the employer of Ronald Clark. CBC couldn't ban the song because there was nothing libelous about it. There was nothing defamatory about it. And Ronald Clark is not an employee of CBC. So because of the overstepping that was done at Starcom is the only reason that the song was allowed to be banned. Because who's going to override when Anthony said this song can't play, who's going to override that? Whether it is right, whether it's wrong, whether it's just, whether it's unjust, who's going to override it? See, and so there was no grounds to ban the song at CBC, and that's why the song played at CBC. And I can tell you, as a semi-finalist in the Pickety Crop competition for 7 years, if there was anything libelous, defamatory, or even borderlining legally in the song, he would not have been allowed to sing the song on finals night.
He wouldn't. And when I knew that there was a problem with the song, because I want, I said, let me do my due diligence. I did send the song to a lawyer before
As
I
we
played
did
the
as well.
song on
Yeah.
here, because I said, I don't want to get everybody, let me do what I know is the right thing to do. I didn't think anything was wrong with the song, and I loved it, but I said, let me check.
That would have been probably like the fifth legal opinion in the song.
Yeah, I went and I dressed like her. So did I personally attack her? Should I be looking for, who they going to report to on me? I don't know. But anyway, Dave, go ahead, please.
Over the course of time and history, brilliance, performance, unveiling history. About Robert Sonny, time and grace and prayer. Can see that I went to the MCM and it's happy over.
Yeah, it's sticking. Is it sticking for you, Sean, or just me?
Yeah, it's sticking as well. So I say.
Yeah, we just keep it there on the screen, Dave, as we talk. Let me read some of the comments here. And folks, you can feel free to call in. We forgot to say that. But before you call in, don't call in yet. So let me just read. I have found this one funny. Oh, it said MP people said CBC could not ban the song. Why did Starcom ban the song? That is not clear, as well as why was Ronnie fired? Remember, I said don't call right now. I changed my mind. Okay, just give us a moment. We have to do a couple more things. A lot
Yeah.
of contradictions in Starcom's story, and the timing far too coincidental.
I
And
agree.
really, that sums it all up there. That's why I personally have not turned back on Starcom. No, I'm not listening to them. I'm not listening to them. No, because no, and this is why we can see, for me as an artist and looking at what Ronnie did that night. I'm not a judge. I wasn't judging, and of course the judge's decision is final. But with all of this surrounding the song, I could definitely see why it could be, somebody could say, well, there's no way this song could win. There's no
As
way,
people have said.
and that casts some kind of cloud and over the competition itself for me as an artist.
Mm.
You
Yeah,
know,
without doubt, it was the most impactful song of the night. However, the winner of the competition is not based on who has the most impactful song, but like you said,
yeah,
having now seen this, just this letter, you haven't even gone into any of the other letters that has been shared with Mr. Clark. Just from this one letter where everything started, it puts even the results on the night of the Pick of the Crop finals, puts them into question and puts them under a cloud. Because if this can be done privately, well, the CEO is publicly saying, I don't have an issue with the song. When clearly this is proving that you do, unless this is fabricated and this is not a real document. So this letterhead didn't come from Starcom. The signature wasn't Anthony's signature. If that is proven, then it makes a little bit more sense. But if this is indeed Starcom Network's letterhead and this letter indeed came from Anthony Green, it puts everything in question. You cannot rule it out.
but this is the same. But before, I just want to take a couple minutes, and Sean, you don't have to comment on this, but I did promise
Mhm.
the people that I am doing my own investigation into and this I might put you in. You can tell me if you want me to take you off the screen, because I don't want to get you into any trouble. But we here on the Marcia Week show, we're calling for a full investigation into the financial accounting of the National Cultural Foundation. Based on what we are hearing, and we can only base it on what we're hearing because there's no Freedom of Information Act where we can then request certain documents, etc., records,
Understood.
then we are not able to fully verify. We're doing all that we can on the outside, and I have questions here. I want to know, on behalf of the people of Barbados, who approves the use of the money from the cultural arts, the Arts and Sports Fund? Who approves that? Who were the last recipients? Who were the last people who were awarded? Who are those people that were awarded from the Arts and Sports Fund that the former Prime Minister, Owen Arthur, set in place through the what's it called now? The lottery, a percentage of the lottery helped to create this fund. On behalf of the people of Barbados, we want to know, NCF. And those who can, and we're asking on the leader of the opposition to ask and to probe and to push for public investigation into the financial management and accounting of the National Cultural Foundation. The Arts and Sports Fund is now put under the NCF. There was a separate office. I don't know if you're aware of that, Sean. That was in Welsh.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yes, and that was even in the time when John King was the minister of culture in the early part. That culture, that arts and sports fund was at the cultural arts. I'm gonna get the right name of that. Apache, look it up for me and find it for me what it was called. But the Arts and Sports Fund was set up separately, so you have to apply to them separately. There was a different board, etc. When Miss I don't know whose decision it was. If it was the prime minister, since she was the minister of culture, they decided to put everything under the NCM.
Right.
And it is being reported that that is where people are not sure what is going on there. Okay. Also, what about when contracts are given? Why is it being reported that contracts are given to one set of people that have some kind of connection with people in the NCF? Is that true? I don't know. We cannot get the document, so we have to do it publicly. We are calling for the loyal opposition, a public investigation. We need an investigation into the financial management and accounting of the National Cultural Foundation. A full investigation. I can't call these names here. We know that they have received one of the largest budgets in this country because of all the agencies, because they now have everything. Most things that are cultural now are underneath the NCF. Even the rum and the rum and food and rum and food festival.
Festival, yeah. That's the recent one that was added. Yeah.
It's added. Yes. And I want to know, are the sponsors happy with how the funds are being spent?
Well, if I can jump in here, Marcia, I can tell you that the artists are not happy because we have had several complaints, and even the ones that did not come to us directly. We are seeing messages being posted on social media. We're seeing videos being posted on social media by artists who are still waiting to be paid from Carrie Festa. They're still
really? But didn't they say that it would have been a month? When did Carrie Festa end? Anybody?
Carrie Festa was in August.
Carrie Festa was in August.
Yeah, so, and you still have artists that are several artists that are waiting to be paid. So I can very well, I don't have a problem at all with supporting you in calling for a public investigation into the accounts of the NCF. I don't have a problem with that at all. We support that fully.
Yeah. I think it is important. I don't know if Mr. Thorne is listening, but we are asking and I think that the arts community need to come together and ask for it.
I agree.
Because it is being reported, and I don't know if it is true, Sean, that that one of the large sponsors, I have the name here, I'm not calling any names, because I got to see some documentation, that when this sponsor complained about what was happening, it is being reported, and we're asking the NCF to come into the open and tell the people if this is so or not. That when they were complaining and they said that they will, well, if this, whatever they were unhappy about, they were told this, and they said, well, we could just pull our sponsorship and it's being reported that they were told, we don't worry about that. The government has enough money to pay the bills of this festival. You hearing that? I can't
Yeah.
believe that was said.
Well, my thing is if that was said, why are artists still waiting to be paid from Carry Festa? What's the delay? What's the hold up? What's the problem? When the invoices are already in. Some invoices have been sent in twice. Because when people followed up to inquire as to why they weren't paid, in some cases it was said that the invoices weren't found. Invoices were resubmitted and artists still have not been paid. This is
Can you repeat that, please? Can you
This is
repeat
no
what? And this is listen to what Mr. Carter is saying. What Mr. Carter is saying is why we need the investigation. Listen to what he repeat what you just said, Mr. Carter.
Yeah, I said when artists from Carry Festa, which is 3 months ago, and they followed up with the NCF, with the accounts department, in some cases they were told that they could not find their invoices. These invoices were resubmitted, and the artist has still not been paid 3 months later. As you said, there was a promise that was made again publicly, because I'm not going to speak to stuff. As you said, there's messages that have been circulating on social media. I am sure some of the messages that came to me went to you, concerning some of the stuff that you said before. I don't see why I can speak authoritatively now as to this aspect of the Ronnie Clark, the announcer issue, is because I have several documents now in my possession that we have in our possession as BACA as well. So we have evidence. So it's not hearsay. It's not this body's opinion against this body's opinion. I don't, and that's why I support the call for a public investigation into the accounts of the NCF, because I don't have any documents stating why artists are still waiting 3 months later from Carry Festa to be paid.
Exactly. Especially when they said it did so well, you know. And yeah, but then what I'm also have here is that while there are people that are waiting for Carfesta from Carfesta to be paid, there are also people waiting from
Crop over?
Crop Over.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a fact as well.
However, there are particular people
Correct.
that have been paid several times already.
That is factual as well.
Did you hear what I'm saying? There are people that have been paid several times already in that waiting period. And I have the amounts that they have been paid. And then I'm being told, and that's the thing, this is why we need the Freedom of Information Act, because we need to know if these things are true or not. There are people who are getting contract, and it's almost that something that it is being reported, which NCF will have to say if it is true, that you know, some of these companies, they put there's extra that is put in the padded amount that goes for people, that almost like there's a little finder's fee inside there. I'm using that, you know, very loosely inside there. We don't know. Somebody, this is very, very important. You know, what is happening here? And is it true that there are companies that are formed by people that are associated with that organization, and then they are those companies are contracted? We need some documentation, and so we're asking for the NCF. Can you come and say, please, because we don't know, and it's in order for this thing to, as you're saying, Mr. Carter, you know, people are sending it all over WhatsApp.
Yes.
Why don't we come and settle it? Why don't we settle it? so that because people could be making up stories on the NCF. You see what I'm saying? So we need the NCF, or we need the government. We need the I don't know if the leader of the opposition can help, but we need a full investigation.
I think it's something that the accounts committee can look into.
Yes.
Should be able to have the teeth to bite into that, and hopefully provide some of the documentation that would either prove that these things that are circulating are true, or if they're false. Let's put it to rest one time.
Put it to rest. Put it to rest. Well, I'm going to ask the persons who are calling to call back. We have in the last 15 minutes, but you see, I had to get this out, guys, right? I have to get this out. Can you call back on WhatsApp, not regular call, WhatsApp? It's way better for us that we want to hear you. So please forgive me. I had to stop the call because I made a promise. And I wanted to, yes, okay, the caller is here. Good night, caller. Good night, caller.
Yes. Good night to Barbados again. Marcia, how are you doing?
I am doing great. Good to hear you.
Yes. Mr. Carter, how are you doing, sir?
Hey, good evening. I am well. Hope you're well as well.
Mr. Carter?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Hello?
Yeah, he's hearing you. Can you hear me?
Okay, Mr. Carter. I'm one of these no-nonsense people, okay? The NCS depend on you guys. Without your organization, there are no NCS. If you so proclaim that some of these artists are still not being paid today, why are you guys still participating in more events upcoming for the NCS? You all should be putting pressure on this organization that have one of your members get fired for singing a free speech song. So as I said, no hard feelings, no disrespect, but I'm gonna blame you guys for not coming together as one group and saying, this is what we want and demand it. I guarantee you the Barbadian public will support you on that, because as what we all are hearing and knowing what's going on in that organization, and you guys are not demanding respect, you will not get it. As a group, you all are powerful, but as one, you are not. There's a lot of fear in Barbados, but if you come together as a group, no one can mess with you guys. I'm in the diaspora, I'm not very happy of this, because Barbadians talk a lot. We talk and talk and talk, but we need to come together as one and demand. Couple gone long and people still ain't getting paid. Sorry to say, but this is nonsense. So I'm not gonna blame you, but you need to get your members together and demand stuff, or else don't perform. The NCS needs you guys. And for you guys to support your families, demand your pay and respect. Okay, sir? So I'm going to get off. Let someone else come on. Thank you, Marcia.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much as a caller from the diaspora. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for
other callers, go ahead and make your call. Please do it via WhatsApp. A quick comment there, Mr. Carter, until we get a call.
Yeah, sure. So as I would have mentioned before, there's unity and support, and then there's unity and support. We have, from the time Ronnie was fired, there was overwhelming support in messages in our WhatsApp group, in BACA's general WhatsApp group. When it was time to march, again, there was very little support, where there was a need for feet on the street. Me as the president, we as the executive, we cannot force any member of BACA to do anything. What the caller has said that is absolutely correct is that none of these competitions, most of the events that the NCF will hold, they cannot happen without the artists. The artists do not. We've been trying for the last 5 years to help artists to understand the power that they have. It goes back to what I was saying before. Persons are easily intimidated. Barbados is like it's like one. You know, you see these signs for construction, and they say one builders, and there's these different. Barbados is like one big plantation. The slavery mindset and mentality is still there. You cannot easily reprogram or get people to recondition their thinking. It's a, even as you are doing tonight, Marcia, systematically based on the timeline, revealing information piece by piece, and hoping that people will get it and that people will wake up. That's what we have been doing as an organization. So there are many persons who have joined BACA, and there are many who have not. Right? There are many who still think that they can operate independently. The other reason why more people were not on the street on Saturday is two things. One, because too many entertainers are selfish. But two, they do not realize that this issue is bigger than Ronnie Clark, that this issue directly affects them. So even in their selfishness, if they realize and saw the bigger picture, and they realize the impact that allowing this thing to be set as a precedence will have on them, then they would have been out there in the streets on Saturday. So we can advise, just as a lawyer can advise a client. A lawyer cannot make a client do anything. We, as artist representatives, BACA, we can advise our members. At the end of the day, each individual will make their own decisions, and that is democracy.
Yes. Okay, we have another caller on the line. Thank you, caller, for calling us back. I appreciate that. Caller, welcome to the Marcia Week Show.
Yes, good night, Marcia, and good night to the panel.
Good night. Always a pleasure to have you.
Yes. You are. I'm calling to hear the words. It seems like the show was talking a lot about hats and which hat the person was wearing, but I am calling the hat of one who used to be at the NCF. And what I must say is that I am not bringing any tales out of school, so no hearts have to start palpitating now. That's not the issue of my calling. My calling is that I am actually watching the what I would say the climate of not only public but private sector employment rights and stuff like that in Barbados. And I'm gonna just give like blotch points that the listeners can pick sense of nonsense. In St. Vincent, the call is fit and ready. In St. Vincent, there's a call called, there's some people there shouting they're fit and ready. And in Barbados, they're saying, they're shouting 30 safe seats. But anyway, where I'm going with this is that somebody was saying, the employer has the right to do this, or the employer has the right to do that. But I think that your research is not about if the employer has the right to do X, or the employee has the right to do Y. It is about bringing to the fore the facts that the people and legal luminaries can dissect them. You see, because if this is not done in Barbados, and this is nothing against Carol or for Ronnie, this is not that, because as a practitioner, and not only a practitioner, a former cultural person altogether, it is not about the individual. It is about the art form and the preservation of what I call full expression in the arts, and the limitations to that as it relates to the examination of the work of an entity, be it a prime minister, that is an office of itself, and that's an entity. Serenade in his song, as you would know, Serenade did not sing only against or the exposition of what he felt in that day was Sandyford's jogging, which means evasion of this and evading of that. But it was speaking to the various things that he felt were not addressed. So if in his day he was given I keep saying this, did he not win the Apache can tell me did he not win the crown for that song?
He did.
He said he did.
Right. So you can tell me that then in Barbados, pre republic status, you would win a song for the analysis or the your critique, skillful artistic critique of a prime minister. You win a crown, and an NCF manager happens to feel offended by certain aspects in a song. And this person is going to be, if not fired, met up with a lot of antagonism and stuff like that. Barbados have to ask themselves: is this the Barbados that they want? Is this the Barbados that they voted for? And this is not about BLP, DLP, NDP. This is about setting right and preventing something I call political gangsterism from settling in the atmospheric and stratospheric realms of Barbados. I think that's all I have to say on this matter.
Yes, very well said. And we need to have a talk because you were the music the music.
I was one of the two. I was one of the two, and let it stay right there for now, and enjoy the rest of your night. I was one of the two, so we would have a enjoy your night.
We'll talk off air. Thank you so much.
Continue. All the best. All the best.
Yes. Wow. Your thoughts there, Mr. Carter. We have 7 minutes, guys, and we can take some more calls.
So knowing the individual, he again, as he started by saying, he's not coming with tales. He's speaking what he knows. He's a creative. He knows it from my side. He is, I would say, a renowned creative. He's very good at what he does. He was also, as he said in the end, one of the music ministers in the National Cultural Foundation. So he knows it from both sides.
There's a caller on the line of Mr. Carter. Caller, welcome. And if you could just help us out by turning down the device, we're happy to have you call. Thank you so much.
Yes, please.
God bless you.
I just turned it off.
Thank you. That's okay.
Blessed good night to the panel, Brother Sean. Nice to see you again. Marcia, my submission tonight is climate change. The climate is changing. The people are beginning to rise up. And I'm glad that on Saturday, I actually experienced that climate change. Now, a couple weeks ago, I understand that an airplane flew over Barbados and dumped something in the atmosphere. Now, it might be conspiracy, but now we are having a lot of rain and causing a lot of damage to people, and then we find people who are into climate change coming out and say, well, look, this is the reason for the climate change. I mean, people are causing problems and issues and then getting on as though it is something normal or natural and they have the answers for them. This gets me angry, you know?
So you're saying that because, you know, as you rightly say, conspiracy, because one of the things that, I mean, we can put it forward as, because I've done that on the show already, where I came forward with the stuff from Jamaica and said, this is my opinion. And I find that something is strange about this particular thing. But, you know, we can't really come now and say that is exactly what they're doing unless we have some facts about it. You follow me?
I agree with you, Marcia, but certain things are happening too obvious, and we're being, I would say, sidelined or side-blinded by a lot of things. So we have to be on our P's and Q's to understand that things are happening that we I guess pretend not to be aware of, you know, and people are just pushing their narratives.
Yes.
So, you know, just let us be aware that things are happening out of the norm.
Out of the norm. Well, I tell you, it's something that you know, we can take a look at and present it as a theory. you know, as something to look at, because until we have the facts, you know, it's a theory that's out there, and we want people to at least be thinking about it, you know. But I'm glad you brought it
Marcia,
up. Yes,
Marcia,
yes,
no, you see, I like the way how you are presenting yourself, you know what I mean? Announcers firing was theory until he bought the facts.
yes.
Correct.
Yes. So
And some people still don't believe the facts.
True.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
I understand
Because
where
they're too
you're going.
self-story.
I understand where you're going with that, but I was just telling you, it's not that you saw how I presented about
understood.
Jamaica. So I know I'm going to do, I will do a
They're
presentation,
understandable.
but yeah. All right,
They're
yes,
understandable.
understood. But thank you for bringing that to our attention.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Blessings on you.
God bless you. Yes. Yes, so we just have 3 minutes, so we're that's the last caller. We Mr. Carter, I first of all want to I want to commend you on your courage. I have to commend you on your courage. Your courage for standing up for what you're seeing as an injustice that has occurred towards your fellow colleague and member of the organization that you're president of. I've been in Barbados. I'll give you a moment. I've been in Barbados long enough to know that, and to have seen, you know, presidents of organizations and people who are in charge of, you know, that needs to stand up. We saw that with even the Praise Academy, where there was nobody really there to stand up with us. We were when this was done to us by the NCF.
Yeah.
Where people got into their feelings. All that happened is that they got in their feelings, and that's how it seems again. That people got into their feelings and forgot about rights, constitutional rights, and laws, and all of that. And here it is again, and we were saying nobody was coming to our aid. Now it happens to Ronnie, right? And you still have people on the sideline like they don't want to get involved. Correct. Right? You still have that kind of thing happening.
Yeah.
So I say I commend you, and to all the Calypsonians who were there on Saturday. I saw some of them there. I'm sure I saw Bumba in a Baka shirt.
Yes, Bumba was there. Nico was there. Billboard was there for sure.
And I saw Merle Niles.
Yes, Merle was there as an executive member of BACA.
Yes, and she was in a BACA shirt. I saw Jennifer was there.
Okay, Jennifer, I didn't see her.
Yes, that does the theater pieces, etc.
Yeah, Jennifer Walker. Yeah.
That's Jennifer Walcott, a wonderful lady who helped us, you know, at Praise Academy. You know, she's a nice lady, and she was there. I couldn't recognize all of the artists that were there.
Yeah, Jason Morris was there as well, saxophonist, and also a member of our executive. Andrea King was there as well.
Andrea King, yes. Yeah. I wonder if she would come on the show. Some of them are a little frightened. But
I'm sure King, she is.
But wasn't Andrea King in charge of the cultural industries?
Yes.
Yes. Wasn't she the one? Wow. Why am I not remembering the name of that organization that was separated out of the CIF? Cultural Industry, CIF?
I can't remember the name of it right now either, but I know she was very instrumental in the drafting of the cultural industries bill.
Yes.
So and as you were saying before.
Thank you. Yes. Barbados Cultural Industrial Development Agency.
Yes.
Thank you, BCDA. That was so progressive, wasn't it? That's a progressive thing that they had done, you know.
but as you said, that was one of the entities that has now come under the NCF as well. So there's no separation between the two agencies anymore. So similar to when you mentioned the Arts and Sports Fund, similar to when you mentioned the Food and Rum Festival, this is now also under the NCF, under the umbrella of the NCF. So all of the grants associated with it from the cultural industries, the exemptions that you can get, the duty free that you can get, this is now all through and under the NCF.
Yes, yes. Wow. Well, Mr. I will ask you to just to close out with the final word. I'll just make an announcement to people that
Sure.
we are going to, I believe, probably have our final march for the year on the 29th. Unless they come with foolishness, we will come out here Christmas Day. All
We
right.
will.
But but as far as we know, but we're going into the month of December, November 29th. Get ready again, guys. Get ready. We have to go out concerning this transport board privatization. It must remain a proposal. You hear me? It must remain a proposal, and we're going out about that. And we are going to watch the Ronnie situation, and if we need to tag it on again, because we're going to watch what they're going to do concerning this, and we will go back and hit the pavement again. We're going to lump it all together. All right. So everybody put that in your diary, if you can still keep diary on your schedule, in your phones, that we're going out again, folks, on the 29th. Don't get tired, because they don't get tired. You understand? Don't get tired and talk about you going on into Christmas. We got to stay ready. All right. Over to you, Mr. Carter.
Thank you. So again, Marcia, thank you for having me on the show. It was a pleasure. Any opportunity to speak truth, and as you said before, and even in this wrap up, I'm committed to this process because not from a personal or emotional standpoint, because Ronnie is a Calypsonian, or because he's a friend, or because he's a member of BACA, but you must, and all Barbados, not just the creative sector, all of Barbados must see the bigger picture. You know why? It starts today with the silencing of one voice. When you silence one voice, you weaken all voices. It starts today with the creatives. It started last year with Praise Academy. This year is the announcer. Who will it be next year? And if we allow this precedent to be set, I say it again, it's the creatives now. Tomorrow is the church. They dictate what can be said and can't be said in the church. This is another hat that I wear, so I can't left that out in my speaking. I have to see the bigger picture. If they can silence us as people, if they can silence us as Barbadians, then where would we be? We cannot allow this precedent to be set. We cannot allow employers to overreach and to overstep. And that's why we as an organization stand where we stood with Ronnie from the beginning, and where we will continue to stand with him right through to the end. Because the irony, as Ronnie said on Saturday, is that Starcom has the station called Voice of Barbados. The Calypsonian traditionally throughout the years has been the voice of Barbados. The Calypsonian has been the voice of the people. And if you don't see it, when you stand by or sit by and do nothing, and you watch a Calypsonian be gagged or be muted or be silenced, then you are silencing your own voice, because often the Calypsonians speak on behalf of the people and speak truth to powers that be, truth that you might not ever have the opportunity to speak. But I encourage everyone to write to the editor of the newspapers, write to your MP. And again, Marcia, we join our voice, we hear our voice, in not only calling for a public investigation into the accounts of the NCF, but even because of this information that we now have, that this whole issue is not separate and distinct from a government institution, a government organization, because that is what the NCF is. And as such, we would demand a public investigation into this matter concerning Ronnie, the announcer clerk, as well.
Excellent. Excellent. Very well said. And I'm so proud of you and Baka.
Thank you.
Finally, we have an organization that is standing up on behalf of the people. And, this is wonderful. This is wonderful. All right. God bless you all. Thank you, Dave Weeks. Thank you so much. I know it is a big sacrifice for you tonight. And you're always there, ever ready to serve Barbados. Thank you, Mr. Dave Weeks. Somebody needs to pass that on to that gentleman for me. All righty. God bless you, Sean. Great job. Thank you. Hi, everybody.
Who say you can't put a woman to do a man's job? Was the promo for a radio show. I remember Kitchener Pan in a minor was the bed on which it was set. Over the course of time and history, brilliant performance unveiled the mystery of Carol Roberts on air, style and grace and flair. Then she left, I went to the NCF, and it's happy crop over, no, happy Carol over, yeah. It's the National Carol Festival, the Carol Festival. The semi-finals gone. 2 songs in competition. I can't even change this one. Oh Lord, in the Carol Festival, jumping by stadium, turn left at Combermere gone. And the people in Station Hill can't even make a little merry in the Carol Festival, but think it not straight. Carol loves to innovate and change. Botanical, NCF, Carol, NCF, Foundation, NCF. Oh, Carol, I am but a fool. She hit the round running, eager beaver, ever ready. Classic win the crown, spotting the light punchy. Innovation, 1 song, more prize money. Imagine Carol in charge. Previously, Mr. Harding and Sugar made us free. Would be the dilemma facing our PB. Gabby, Jack, Calypso, Boomba, love your own, they want to know. 1 song to sing, Adonijah would have been king. Woman. And it's happy crop over, no, happy Carol over, yeah. It's the National Carol Festival, the Carol Festival. Kahobla Pop gone, the kings and the queens gone. It's a soca orgy of feta after feta after feta after feta in the Carol Festival. Party monarch gone, soca monarch gone. No proper platform for future soca stars in the Carol Festival, but think it not strange. Soca 25 is change. People with inquiring minds ask me why I wasting time with Carol, wearing the clothes like Carol. Nothing on cost of living, whole town history vanishing, but it's Carol. Lipstick like Carol. The PM flights, 93, over 1 million in travel free, but it's Carol. Golden shoes like Carol. But if Carol knows so much about Calypso, how come she never write a Calypso? A witty ditty with a melody so pretty, hit the PM in the belly with a mighty Calypso. NCF, Carol, NCF, Foundation, NCF. Seminar, webinar, workshop, residency for Jackie Opel with Dr. Stefan, Arsenal fan. Freedom Park, season of emancipation. Amphitheater for Marcus Garvey, the great man. Work worthy of appreciation. I applaud, I praise what is right. The carol loves to change, so pay attention. She might change pickety crop to carol by candlelight. It's happy crop over, no, happy carol over, yeah. It's the National Carol Festival, the Carol Festival, cultural village gone, feast on the plantation, in botanical you're so beautiful, and I winning crown in the Carol Festival. Look at AC gone, classic and Mr. Blood gone, I tell I Web, announcer said, tonight you're dead in the Carol Festival, but think it not straight. Even she hairstyle get changed. Come on, NCF, NCF, hairstyle, NCF, for Carol, NCF, NCF. Hello, Carol, I'm depending on